Hello. In the last lecture, we have seen the simple block diagram of a DSP processing system, where it has seen in the block diagram, we have seen the various components. One is the analog front end. In between the analog front end and the analog back end, we are having a DSP processor. In analog front end, we have seen what is anti-aliasing filter, what is the importance of anti-aliasing filter, need for sample and hold circuit, A to D converter, and in analog backend we have seen D to A converter and reconstruction filter. After that, sampling process is been discussed. After that, we have discussed the DTS, that is discrete time sequence, and after that we have discussed the importance of DFT and FFT, and also we have seen that how FFT is more efficient compared to DFT in taking less processing time, where the number of complex multiplications involved in DFT is n square and number of complex multiplication required in FFT is n by 2 log n to the base 2. Continuing further, let us study the concepts of LTI, and further let us see the digital filters in DSP processing system. Now let us start with the LTI system. LTI is the full form of linear time invariant system. LTI stands for linear time invariant system. First, let us try to understand what is a linear system. If a system satisfies the superposition principle, or a system to which a superposition principle can be applied, is called as linear in nature, or that system is linear, which follows superposition theorem. Which follows superposition Next, we have to discuss what do you mean by time invariant system. Time invariant that is related to the system related to time. How time is involved in the system. Time invariant, that means what? A system in which, or the system which is described by the same input output conditions at all the times is called as time invariant system. That means the input output relation should not change with respect to time. If that is the case, we can conclude that the system is time invariant in nature. To understand this time invariant system, I am going to take an example to illustrate the concept of time invariant and a time variant. For time invariant system, I am going to take an example of a simple calculator. Simple calculator. In simple calculator, if you give some input to perform an action, for example, if you give 2 plus 3, that gives 5. If you give 5 plus 5, that gives 10, and so on. The thing is, now this input and output relation are not dependent on time. If you give this input 2 plus 3 and we are going to get the output 5 at 8 a.m., same input output relation. If you give the same input parameters at afternoon 2 p.m., then also the input output relation is same. If you give the same input parameters at evening, then also you are going to get the same output relation. That means the input output relations are not getting changed with respect to time. For the case of time variant system, I am going to give an example of thermometer. Now let us see how this behaves as time variant. Time variant. If I check my temperature at morning 9 a.m., it might show some temperature 96.8 Fahrenheit. And if I check my temperature after some time, after 2 hours, it will change or the temperature may increase further. After 2 hours, if I take one more reading, the temperature may increase, and depending on the environment condition, the temperature is going to change accordingly with respect to time. That means the parameter temperature is going to change. The values taken with respect to the thermometer is going to change according to time. This is not the case with respect to calculator. For processing, we require linear time invariant systems rather than using time variant systems. Next, let us move on to the further concepts of these LTI systems with a simple block diagram of LTI system refers to we can represent the LTI system in this fashion, where it follows the superposition theorem as well as it should be time invariant in nature. The followed concepts of LTI systems include, first one is convolution, second one is Z transform, and third one is system function, are also called as transfer function. Now let us try to understand these three concepts one by one. First one is convolution. Convolution is an operation that relates to the input-output of an LTI system. That relates to the input-output of a LTI system to its unit sample response. To its unit sample response. An LTI input-output relation of an LTI system to its unit sample response. It is given by the equation y of n, that is equal to summation m is equal to minus infinity to plus infinity h of n into x of n minus m, and that is equal to summation m is equal to minus infinity to plus infinity x of n into h of n minus m, and that is equal to x of n star h of n. That means y of n, this y of n is equal to x of n convolution of h of n. This star denotes the convolution operation. Star denotes the convolution operation, where x of n is the input sequence, y of n is the output sequence, h of n is the unit sample response. In this way, we can see the convolution operation that is related by equation y of n is equal to x of n convolute by h of n. Next, let us try to understand the concept of Z transform. Z transform is simply an extension of Laplace transform and Fourier transform for sampled data. It is an extension to the Laplace and Fourier transform. Fourier transform for sampled data. This is very important. For what purpose we are using? For the purpose of sampled data. That means we are interested in digitized data. That means we are interested in the concept of discontinuous time sequence. Discontinuous time sequence, that is meant by sampled data. First, we can consider the frequency response of an n-point x of n sequence, how the frequency response is going to behave with respect to the Z transform is illustrated with the equation x of e power j theta is equal to summation n is equal to 0 to n minus 1 x of n into e power minus j n theta. E power minus j n theta. This is the frequency response of a n-point x of n sequence. If you substitute this e power j theta equal to z, then this becomes x of z is equal to summation n is equal to 0 to n minus 1 x of n into z to the power minus n. Z to the power minus n. This is the relation of the frequency response of an n-point x of n sequence denoted in terms of Z transform. Here the parameter Z denotes the digital frequency, is represented in terms of digital frequency. Coming to the next concept, that is system function. The system function is simply the ratio of the Z transform of output to the input. That is related by h of z, the ratio of output by input, or in other words we can say h of n in time domain, y of n by x of z transform. This is the system function or transfer function. After knowing the concepts of the LTI system, that is the convolution, Z transform and system function or transfer function, now let us move on to the next concept, that is digital filters. Digital filters. Before getting into the digital filters, let us try to understand the basic meaning of the filters. What is a filter? A filter is a electrical network which pass or rejects the designated band of frequency. Filter is a electrical network that comprises of resistors and capacitors, electrical network that pass or reject designated band of frequencies. The standard filter types includes low pass filter, high pass filter, band stop filter, and band reject filter. Basically, we have four types of filters. One is LPF, that is low pass filter, HPF, high pass filter, BPF, that is band pass filter, and BRF or BSF, that is band reject or band stop filters. In general, all filters are not ideal. What do you mean by this statement? In order to understand this statement, let me consider the example of low pass filter to understand the same. We know that the response of the low pass filter ideally should be like this. That means this filter, low pass filter, is designed to pass the low frequency component and simultaneously to attenuate or to reject high frequency components. It has to pass low frequency components and it has to reject high frequency components. But what happens practically, that I have to see with respect to the waveform. In reality, what happens is, if you perform the experiments in laboratories, then we are going to get the graph of the low pass filter like this. Like this, we are going to get the graph. What is the reason for this? Ideally, or in general, the filters are not ideal in nature. The theoretical value will not meet the practical value. In order to do so, like that means in order to improve this waveform, in order to make this waveform a closer approximation of the ideal filter, what we have to do is we have to increase the order of the filter. One solution to this problem is increase the order of the filter. If you increase the order of the filter, then it is going to take the closer approximation of the ideal low pass filter. For example, this is order 1, first order, second order, third order, and so on. Okay. In this course, we are going to discuss two types of digital filters. One is FIR, the other one is IIR. FIR stands for Finite Impulse Response Filter and IIR stands for Infinite Impulse Response Filter. First, let us try to understand the concept of FIR filter. Before this, in digital filter, we have H of n sequence that is going to operate on is going to operate on the x of n sequence, that is input sequence, in order to generate filtered sequence, filtered output sequence y of, we have h of n sequence that is going to operate on the input sequence x of n in order to generate the filtered output sequence y of n. Let me first list out the features or advantages of FIR filters. Here we have listed the features or advantages of FIR filter. Let us go one by one in detail. The first feature of the FIR filter is it has the impulse response of the FIR filter is finite in length or duration. The length or duration of the impulse response is finite in nature. Next is it is inherently stable because of no feedback mechanism associated with FIR filter. If you don't have the feedback mechanism, then the system is inherently stable. And this FIR structure is also called as, due to no feedback, the structure is also called as feed forward filter. Feed forward filter. This we can see when you draw the block diagram of an FIR filter. The next point is it exhibits linear phase response and constant group delay. The phase response is very linear in nature and it also exhibits a constant group delay. Next point is it has no relation to the output present or past since it is non-recursive, as well as since it has no feedback mechanism associated with it. You draw the block diagram of an FIR filter. The next point is it exhibits linear phase response and constant group delay. The phase response is very linear in nature and it also exhibits a constant group delay. Next point is it has no relation to the output present or past since it is non-recursive, as well as since it has no feedback mechanism associated with it. After knowing the advantages of FIR filter, now let us consider a simple block diagram of an FIR filter. X of n is passed through a unit delay element, then that is given by x of n minus 1, and that is multiplied by a coefficient value 0.5, and here the x of n is given by 0.5, and here these two values are added to get y of n. Y of n at the output. At the output y of n, we are having 0.5 into this x of n plus 0.5 into this x of n minus 1, and the same is written here in this equation. After writing this equation, let us try to write the h of n sequence, that is 0.5 to delta of n plus 0.5 to delta of n minus 1, where we can write h of n is equal to 0.5 comma 0.5. These are all the sequence filter coefficients. Then we can take the z transform h of z for h of n as 0.5 plus 0.5 Z inverse. Now I can substitute the value of Z is equal to e power j theta. Letting Z is equal to e power j theta, I can write h of e power j theta is equal to 0.5 plus 0.5 minus e power minus j theta. Further I can write 0.5 plus 0.5 into e power minus j theta can be substituted as cos theta minus j sin theta. Cos theta minus j sin theta. Further 0.5 plus 0.5 into cos theta minus j 0.5 into sin theta. In these two values, that is 0.5 plus 0.5 cos theta, I can take 0.5 as common, and what remains inside is 1 plus cos theta, and here minus j 0.5 sin theta. From the trigonometric relation, we know that 1 plus cos theta can be substituted as 2 cos square theta by 2, and this sin theta can be written as 2 sin theta by 2 into cos theta by 2. With this substitution, this equation can be written further as 0.5 into 2 cos square theta by 2 minus j 2 minus j 0.5 into 2 sin theta by 2 into cos theta by 2. Then we can multiply 0.5 into 2, 1. Here also 0.5 into 2, 1. You can write cos square theta by 2 minus j sin theta by 2 into cos theta by 2. Now this h of e power j theta is equal to cos square theta by 2 minus j sin theta by 2 into cos theta by 2 is in the form of a minus jb form. This is in the form of a minus g. Further, if you take the magnitude of h of e power j theta, if I take the magnitude of the same, then I can write cos square theta by 2 whole square. J square is equal to minus 1, minus into minus plus, I can write sin square theta by 2 into cos square theta by 2. Further, I can write, if I take cos square theta by 2 as common, I can write simply cos square theta by 2 plus sin square theta by 2. Here, this cos square theta by 2 plus sin square theta by 2 or sin square theta by 2 plus cos square theta by 2 is simply equal to 1. I can write cos square theta by 2, and this square and this root cancels, and what we have left out with here is cos of theta by 2. Thereby we have arrived at the solution. H of e power j theta is equal to cos theta by 2. H of e power j theta is equal to cos theta by 2. And the phase response value is given by this is the magnitude response. Let me write magnitude response is equal to cos of theta by 2, cos theta by 2, and phase response minus theta by 2 plus at an angle of cos theta by 2. Next we have to plot the graph of magnitude response and phase response. If we plot, we can see we're going to get response like this. Similarly, if you plot the phase response, minus 0.5, minus 1.0, minus 1.5, so on. It is going to vary. This is the phase response. For this FIR filter, this is the magnitude response and this is the phase response.